in a Quezon City
Transgender
mall.
woman sa isang mall sa Quezon City.
According to Leandra Preston, Associate Instructor of Women's and Gender Studies, gender identity is how we feel in our minds, whereas sex is the biological and physiological part of who we are. Like when we're born, our sex is assigned in a medical way, but the sex listed on our birth certificate may not necessarily match our gender identity. Because gender identity is a person's inner experience of who they are in terms of gender. It is their deep personal sense of being male, female, a blend of both or neither. So we'll learn about sex as something that is fixed. Gender, on the other hand, is fluid. We develop a gender. Our gender can change. Our gender is not fixed. And while many people have a gender identity that's the same as their assigned birth sex, that's not always the case because gender exists on a spectrum, like transgender, which means a person whose gender identity is not consistent with their assigned birth sex. It is an umbrella term for many different gender identities. Gender identity has nothing to do with being straight or gay. Gender identity has something to do with the way we feel about ourselves. This may align with the sex that we are born with, and this may not.
Anong batas yun na lalabag?
May utin ka pa rin, tandaan mo yan.
The incident where a transgender woman was barred from using a female restroom by a janitress is concerning and highlights the need for increased awareness and education about transgender rights and issues. It underscores the challenges that transgender individuals often face in their daily lives, particularly in terms of accessing public facilities that correspond with their gender identity. It's crucial for society to recognize and to respect the gender identity of individuals, and incidents like this underscore the importance of anti-discrimination measures and sensitivity training for those working in public spaces. Misunderstandings about transgender identity can lead to harmful and discriminatory actions, negatively impacting the well-being and dignity of transgender individuals. Efforts should be made to promote inclusivity, educate the public, and establish clear guidelines and policies that safeguard the rights of transgender people. This incident highlights the need for ongoing dialogue and awareness campaigns to foster understanding and acceptance, creating a more supportive environment for all members of the community, regardless of their gender identity.
Proposed legislation in the Philippines called the SOGI, Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity and Expression Equality Bill, seeks to outlaw discriminations based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. If passed into law, it would give everyone the same protections and rights in a variety of spheres of life, including as work, education, and access to products and services, regardless of their gender identity or sexual orientation. The purpose of the measure is to stop prejudice against the LGBTQ+ community and to advance inclusivity. Protecting people from discrimination on the basis of their sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression is the goal of the SOGI bill. The SOGI law emphasizes the right to access facilities that correspond with one's gender identity and would give legal grounds for challenging discrimination against transgender people who are forbidden in using female restrooms, just like what is seen on the issue way back 2019, which we enacted.
The denial of access to appropriate restroom facilities for transgender individuals reflects an urgent ethical concern rooted in complex realm of gender identity. This incident in Quezon City, where a transgender woman was prohibited from using the female restroom in a mall and subsequently detained, highlights the ongoing societal struggle concerning transgender rights and dignity. Ethically, this denial breaches fundamental principles of equality and respect for individual identity. According to American Psychological Association, gender identity refers to a deeply felt understanding of one's gender, which may not align with the sex assigned at birth. Denying a transgender woman access to the restroom that aligns with her gender identity disregards her affirmed identity and perpetuates discrimination.
Furthermore, this restriction violates the principle of inclusivity and non-discrimination. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights emphasizes the rights to equality and freedom from discrimination based on gender identity. Restricting restroom access based on assigned sex rather than the gender identity contravenes these fundamental human rights principles. In addressing this ethical issue, it is crucial for establishment to adopt inclusive policies that affirm and accommodate diverse gender identities. This incident underscored the pressing need for education and awareness to foster a more inclusive society where all individuals are treated with dignity and respect, irrespective of their gender identity.
In a world where understanding and acceptance flourish, we recognize that the beauty of humanity lies in its diversity. Embracing all gender identities enriches our collective experience, fostering a society built on empathy, equality, and respect. Discrimination has no place when we celebrate the unique mosaic of identities that makes us truly human.